Well, I'm here at a new lake. This is Fox Lake. I've never been here. It's a couple hours from the house. Took me a little over 2 hours to get here. I really like what I'm seeing. I mean, I don't know what the main lake looks like, but this is the river portion. A couple of things to point out. I was hoping there'd be some pretty good current pulling through. I mean, there might be current, but it is non-existent. So that's not real exciting. I do kind of like the color of the water, and I really like that. That is milfoil. I'm a big milfoil fan, so we're gonna get in the boat, go see what we can find. I mean, we got, unfortunately, I only got about 4 hours. So I got till roughly about noon, and then I got to drive home 2 hours, pick up Hank, take him to soccer, and then drive back 2 hours for our hotel. So let's see what we can find. So I literally didn't even start the big motor. I just wanted to work my way out towards the lake. This is the river section. I just wanted to get a sense for, like, you know, what it felt like. Was there actual water coming out of here? A lot of times these edges, if you've got good current flow, can be good places to position a lot of fish. It may not be the place to catch what I would consider like normal 5-fish winning tournaments, winning weight, but a lot of times you can get good quality numbers of fish that would live in these areas. So I'm just gonna work my way out real quick. I just picked up a heavier weight because you can see it's got some matted vegetation, got some thicker pads. I mean, it looks good. I accept the fact there's just not really any current coming out of here. I was really hoping there'd be a lot of current. So we're gonna give this like 5 or 10 minutes. I might switch sides for a little bit and see if I can't generate a bite or two. So that didn't really pan out too much. Here's our lake. This is what we're looking at. Fox Lake. It's about 1,000 acres, I think, so it's not giant. Really shallow, as you can see. Very few contour lines. This, you know, all that red is about 6 or 7 foot of water or less. A couple of things that I'm going to be looking at just from a concentration standpoint. I don't know how well you can see this, but they've got an aerator, it says over here. So this is going to be my deep water area, so there's probably good weed lines on that. It's pretty much all developed except for the marsh areas, which I don't know that I want to fish those that much anyways, but I'm going to be looking for hard shoreline areas, tight contour lines, try to get on some grass. Probably go do that now. This indicates a little bit of rock. You know, any place you've got rock and grass is generally good. And then I want to just explore the shallow bite a little bit to see if there's a potential to catch some, just go down the bank and catch some shallow fish. So we're gonna just look around a little bit and see what we can find. Probably head out into these island areas and go from there. Well, we fished this rock point. A couple of things to point out real quick, I guess. The grass only looks like it grows a couple feet deep, which I was not expecting. And there are other lakes that I've fished kind of in the same part of the state, actually, that are similar. It's like the grass grows down a few feet and then that's it. So I haven't seen any grass right now that's deeper than probably 4 foot of water, which really limits, in my eyes, like where the fish are going to be. It doesn't mean they can't go deeper by any means, but I feel like a large portion of those fish are going to be right on that 4 foot mark. The other thing to point out is the lake is really well marked, it seems like. I mean, I'm fishing, I mean, you can see all the buoys in front of me. There's a buoy that marks the channel, and then there's buoys that go around this point that's marking rock. And I think that's, based on what I can see from here, that's kind of what it's going to be all over the place. So all your shallow rocky areas are definitely going to be marked, which is good from the standpoint of being able to find the places quick. It's not good from the standpoint of, like, it makes it just that much easier for everyone else to concentrate on. You know, it is what it is, I guess, but maybe for us, I guess I prefer it. Maybe, I don't know. It's just one of those things that you know, sometimes you like to have the idea that you found a little secret spot to yourself. So the other thing that I feel like it's gonna definitely be a flat fishery, meaning, you know, it's horizontal. It's not gonna have those steep breaks. If we're only talking about fishing that 4 foot of water, I think you're gonna see more of moving baits potentially come into play, like a swim jig, potentially top waters, you know. And I actually prefer that when I'm fishing with Hank, because that means Hank can almost basically cast anywhere, and I think he can catch a fish. If we're fishing vertical and it's much more break line related, it's harder for him to concentrate on fishing specific spots. So, you know, I pulled up, I literally had probably a 2.5 pound largemouth on my second cast. I threw a wacky rig out just to throw out on this point, and had one. Now I've worked the whole point. I threw the wacky rig a little bit more. I've thrown some moving baits and haven't had another bite. So I was hoping, you know, you might be able to catch a bunch of fish on these. I think you can probably hit any of these little rocky points that are out here and probably catch a fish or two. Ideally, what I would like to do is find one that's got more fish on it and then potentially have it to start on. But, you know, based on what I'm seeing right now, this is going to be primarily a shallow tournament, which I think favors us a little bit in terms of, I shouldn't say favors us, but I think it takes away some of the ability to find like really good grouped up deep spots, which for somebody that's never fished the lake before means you might be able to just put trolling motor down and cover water and be able to catch enough. So, I mean, we're gonna bounce around on some of this rock stuff for a little bit and see if we can't generate a few more bites. I have seen a lot of bait fish getting chased. I shouldn't say a lot, but like 3 or 4. I think they're silver sides. They're definitely not minnows. They're individual minnows, and they might be getting chased by white bass. I can see there being a lot of white bass out here. But we're gonna hit a few of these and then see if we can't find some weed lines to potentially fish that are in that 4-foot range, and go from there. It's a nice one. Come on. The old wacky shot. I feel like it's a 3.5 probably. I just feel like that's going to be a deal for sure, is these shallow, well, they're all not necessarily shallow, but the dock bite. I don't know how it won't be on a waterway like this. It's just a matter of, do you know what are the right stretches of docks, and can you catch them fast enough if you're fishing against somebody that is doing something else. I mean, that's maybe the 3rd dock I've fished, so it doesn't surprise me if that's going to be a major player. And I don't really want to catch those fish because we could be back out here tomorrow, but I also want to know, you know, I want to make sure that I'm fishing with bass and not having bluegills or something swimming off with my stuff. But I'm not going to fish many docks at all today, just because I know I could do this tomorrow. And you get into a right stretch, you probably can catch them pretty quick. Well, I've been fishing some of these rocks out here and these deeper weeds, and I've caught 3 pike now. So I'm switching to our Guilty Pleasure bluegill color from the Goldilocks, which is just a better bluegill color. And a lot of times, if I'm catching a lot of pike, say on Goldilocks, or having, you know, I'm switching it now because I just had the trailer cut off. A lot of times switching to a darker color can eliminate some of those pike bites. And generally speaking, if I'm fishing largemouth anyways, I prefer to go with something that's a little bit more bluegill color. And you know, I did catch 2 bass on Goldilocks though too, so I'm not saying that's not the right color, because I did have I should say I caught one and jumped one off right next to the boat. Both were 1 3/4 fish probably. So we're gonna just see if switching colors eliminates some of the pike bites and lets me get back on the largemouth. I'm not gonna fish that much longer on this offshore grass. Just not seeing what I want to see. I've had how many bass bites? I've had 1, 2, 4 bass bites, 2 on a wacky rig. I actually I had a second one on, well, so I had one on the swim jig on that first point I started on, where I had one on the wacky rig. I just had another one off of this little island over here. There's a little rock vein that comes off. There's one more rock vein. You can see all the buoys over here, so we're gonna fish that, just see if there's a group of fish that are using it. And then we're gonna hit a few docks. I'm gonna shake off fish to see if you know, if I just start getting that many bites on docks, that'll probably just be what we do. But if docks are the deal, I want to know what stretches. So is it these 10 docks? Is it those 10 docks, so that I can skip over some of the ones that just aren't as productive? So we're gonna hit one more offshore place. It's just the grass growth is not ideal. When you get out into the 5 or 6 foot range, there are fish everywhere swimming around, but they are definitely not bass. I don't know what they are, probably catfish or sheephead. The Fox River has a lot of trash fish in it, you know, just like any river, so a lot of times they'll just get into the lake. The thing that's wild is, I mean, such a shallow fishery like this, I feel like probably has a very good bass population in it. I mean, it all looks good. So from that standpoint, I do think you could find something that's a little bit more offshore where the fish are really grouped up, and that's kind of what I want to find. I mean, the docks, like I said, you can find good stretches at docks, but I want to find some place we can pull up and catch 5 or 6 bass pretty quick, and I feel like some of these rocky points would be places to do that. And then once the sun gets up, then I can maybe switch over to fishing some docks. Okay, well, we've spent, what time is it? It's about 9:30, so we've spent a couple hours offshore. We've had 3 bass, plus the biggest bass was off a dock as I was working from one spot to the next. So I'm gonna hit a stretch of docks. And really, actually, I'm gonna commit to docks now for a couple hours, but I'm gonna try to break it up. So I've gone to the shallowest docks first to see if I can get bit out of some of the shallow docks, and then I'll start working my way to what are the deeper docks to see if there's a section of docks that I think is holding more fish. The one that I did catch was actually off a deeper dock. It was probably about 4 feet of water on the end, and it was clean. It was rock, the stretch that it was on. So this stuff is really grassed over, as you can see. And I don't know, we're just gonna see if there's some fish on the docks, or if there's maybe some floating grass like you can see that maybe you can punch. This stuff, I don't know. I'm thinking that they're gonna be out closer probably to the main lake, but sometimes they are on the shallowest docks. Generally though, it's on like some of your bigger lakes. This is such a lake, they could be anywhere, that I don't know that that's gonna be the case. But I still wanted to try it because I need to know what docks I'm concentrating on tomorrow. And these have really nice clean areas underneath them. We're only in about 2 foot of water. And I've gone ahead and switched from the core tackle wacky shot. I just tied an O-ring on, so I have no hook on these. So there's not going to be a whole lot of fish catching right now if we start getting bit, but I want to catch them tomorrow. So right now we're just seeing if we can find the type of docks we need to be concentrating on, if that's what we're going to fish. I just picked up the moving bait. Catch a 3-pounder off the dock. I've had a couple of bites so far, and maybe I need to be moving. I've gone down a lot of stretch. I've done this for about an hour, and I'm really covering water fast. And I had two bites on the wacky rig that both felt good. You know, not giants, but both felt good. And I decided if I could cover a little bit more water, maybe that would just kind of one, just helped me cover more water, but two, maybe the fish just wanted a little bit of a reaction bite. You know, on lakes like these, a lot of times these fish just see wacky rig after wacky rig after wacky rig, which of all the baits out there, the wacky rig is the one that I feel like the fish just don't get sick of. But they don't see a moving bait like this on docks quite that much. I just feel like the majority of anglers won't cast a, you know, vibrating jig into areas that maybe I'm willing to try to put it. And, you know, I probably done it for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, and I just caught that nice 3-pounder. Now, that fish hit it instantly. I mean, I basically engaged the reel and he was on there. So, you know, that's probably more a reaction strike than anything, but I would just love to be able to cover water doing things that maybe other people aren't doing and just fish a little bit faster if this is what I'm gonna do. I really am starting to feel like, you know, this is a way to generate some bites, but it's not gonna be the way to catch them. I gotta find some group of fish that are probably in that 4 to 6 foot range, right? You know, on that outside grass line somewhere, and see if I can't find a group of fish, because I don't feel like this is generating enough bites to allow you to stay in it. Now, the one thing I will say is I don't know anything about this lake. I don't know, you know, the type of quality and numbers that are in here. Now, I will say the fish that I've seen seem really, really healthy, really nice. You know, I've caught a 3, I've caught a 3.5. Like, those are good quality fish. Even the little ones, you know, are still like pushing 2 pounds. So that indicates that the quality is here. I just don't know if the numbers are here. So for all I know, maybe having, what have I had? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 bites this morning is actually pretty good. I just really don't know. So I'm gonna do this a little bit longer. Like I said, I've been doing it a little over an hour, and I'm gonna cover some water, see if maybe this is a good way to generate some bites, and then I'm gonna get back offshore and start fishing that 4 to 6 foot range, that outside weed line, see if I can't generate something that way. Well, I just got a couple back to back. I hate catching them. That's another nice fish though. The average size fish is really good. That's on the moving bait. I'm just gonna slow down and just see if I can get a few more bites, and then I'll just leave this stretch alone. But that's the first stretch. I mean, I've gone 2 or 3 docks and caught 2. They're both nice ones. I know the docks you can catch some fish. I just don't think you're gonna be able to catch them fast enough to win your match, unless the person you're fishing against is fishing docks, and then at that point it's who can catch them faster on the docks. So we'll see. Well, I've spent a bunch of time idling around looking for any sort of offshore structure, and there's just like no good break lines. The grass, there's no good weed lines. Very unimpressed with that. I guarantee you there's a lot of fish that are offshore somewhere. I just don't want to start fishing and just put my trolling motor down and fish like a half mile of grass just to try to find something. I'm trying to idle around, trying to find it, and just not having the luck I want. You know, I probably had I don't know, 7, 8 bites off the docks. I had that one rock pile this morning where I had 2 bites, and right now I've got maybe 25 minutes before I gotta head back in. So I'm just kind of idling around, checking some of these real shallow bays, seeing if maybe I can find some milfoil or something. Overall, not feeling great about what I found, but I will say the average size fish has all been, almost everything I've seen has been probably almost 2.5 to 3.5 pounds, which is good from the standpoint of, like, if those are the fish I'm catching shallow, I don't think you're gonna see like a giant wad of fish somewhere that's maybe you know, like 12 to a pound to 2 pounds. I feel like I'd be catching them on the docks, and I haven't seen them. So from that standpoint, I don't think it's a huge numbers lake, but I think the average size fish is pretty solid. So from that standpoint, I think every time somebody catches one, you're probably gonna put them on the scales. So, well, that's it right now. I came back to check the river outflow. It looks beautiful. It just does not seem to be housing many fish. So I think we're gonna stick to the lake portion. See how it goes. If it's not a numbers lake, you know, we could hold our own. If it's a numbers lake, we're probably in trouble. But I gotta head back, go pick up the boys. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and otherwise stay tuned. We'll have a new video coming out tomorrow.